I'm here with Sam Morgan from Signspeed. Hi, Sam. How are you doing?
Jack, yeah, I'm fine, thank you.
Good. We're here ostensibly to talk about Clarity Software, a company that's been around for a long time. I think you've been using for a long time as well. We're going to be talking about your transition from the on-premise version to the cloud-based version. If you could just tell us a little bit about Signspeed, the company, and yourself.
Yeah, of course. Signspeed has been sign makers in Pembrokeshire since 1983, and we're well known in the local area for all of our design, print, and installation services that we offer. So we've got over 40 years of sign making experience, and we serve quite a wide range of industries down here, from gas, oil, hospitality, tradespeople. And we're a team of 7, so we're not a big team, but we're quite mighty.
Right. Again, as I understand, you've been using Clarity since about 2012. Is that right?
That's right, yes.
Yeah.
So when Donna and I took over the company 5 years ago, we inherited Clarity as the CRM system. We'd used it previously in our job roles in the office, but I don't think we were using Pro to its full capacity. And we didn't have time at that moment to sort of delve more into it. And then when Go was released, we considered that then.
Okay, so what were you doing with Clarity Pro? What was its main purpose with the company?
We only used it really for gathering customer information and sending quotes.
Okay.
We weren't using it for any sort of calc wizard feature, which did our pricing, because it seemed to be quite manual at setting up, and it was quite time consuming back then.
Okay. So what were the triggers that made you go down the Go route?
Go offered a few options for us that at the time we were really looking for. Definitely the option to be cloud-based was massive, as we were spending less time in the office, more time out at networking events, trade shows, things like that. And we needed the ability to access our data on the go. And that does give us that option. Another thing was the jobs board feature that they've introduced. We were quite manual previously using Pro. There wasn't an option to run your workflow or job flow through it. And on this version now with Go, we've got a jobs board that all of the staff can look at. We can upload customer details, the whole job from initial contact right through to delivery or fitting, all runs through the jobs board through each stage of production. And obviously we can look at that board from wherever we are to see how things are progressing in a day.
Okay. So I guess as a sort of smaller company, you said there's only 7 of you, you've kind of probably all had multiple roles to a certain extent. So being able to, for all of you to see what's going on easily is quite important.
Definitely. Design can see what production is doing. We can see where the bottlenecks are, because the jobs board individually locates the jobs for you. It tells you how many you've got and what stage of production they're at. So we can support design if they've got a lot going on. And if production is busy, we can see what print runs are coming up. Everybody can sort of help each other out then.
Yeah, and I know that you and Donna particularly, you don't go out a lot, but you go to trade shows, to events, seeing customers. Again, you can't really afford to be away from knowing what's happening for that length of time.
No, and just as well, the knowing what's happening, but also being able to work when we're out and about. For example, attending the trade shows, the print show, for example, we will be there. But when we had Clarity Pro, we weren't able to actually access the system. We had to be in the office, connected to the server to be able to work. Now, when we're at those shows, we can quote customers. If the office are busy and they've got an overflow of work, we can do that from wherever we are, and we can see all our data at any point in time.
I can see the benefit of that for sure. So the process of going from Pro to Go, how was that? How did that work out?
It was fairly easy. The data can be migrated across, and the support team were really good in helping us do that, in saving out the data and transferring that across. We initially had a sync function set up as we had a trial period. So we set up a sync where we still had access to Pro before we moved everything to Go. And I think it was about a month's worth of time where we could access both in case, of any data loss or anything like that. But it was quite seamless. As I say, the time-consuming part for us was entering the information we hadn't put into Pro already. We wanted to add pricing information, marketing information, lead sources, and that did take a lot of our time. But had that have already been in the previous model, we could have transferred it across. So that was more us. But it was a very good chance to cleanse our data and have a look at what we wanted it to look like.
Been using Clarity in all its forms for 12, 13 years. There's a lot of data in there that's really important to your business going forward, isn't it? So it's not a case of just saying, right, we've got a new system, off we go.
Yeah.
But you did, I mean, were Clarity there to help you with the process and see you through it?
They were. There was an amount of training that came with the new setup, which we did as a team to sort of get a good idea of how we inputted a new customer. But I've got to be honest, the system is quite self-explanatory. It's much easier to navigate than the old one. It's more user-friendly. Things make sense. Your buttons sort of travel along on a journey a bit more easier than they did with Pro. But the team were always at the end of the phone. Even now, you know, if we come up against something, we pick up the phone and they sort it either by remoting in or they'll talk us through it over the phone. We did actually purchase some additional training hours from them as well, which we found so beneficial because we didn't use them all at the start. What we did is we banked them and we used them about once a fortnight. And then if the team had any questions, they were written down centrally. And within that time then, as we were using it and learning more, we could ask questions. It's very rare now that we do need to contact them because it is so self-explanatory.
You started off by saying you were using this huge, great management information system and barely using any of it. Do you feel now that you're using much more of what the system has to offer?
We are, yeah. We're definitely using a lot more of the features. I think there are still some that we haven't utilised yet because we haven't got round to them, but we're using, as I say, that jobs board function. We're definitely looking more at the reporting side of things. It's quite in depth with the reporting. It links with our marketing system and we can pull unique reports out. For example, customers who haven't bought from us in 3 months, if we want to target those with an e-shop, we can pull a report, put some dates in, and that'll send those details straight across to our marketing target. We're definitely using delivery collections and fitting a lot more so that we can actually specify to our customers on their delivery notes which option they've chosen. It's just got so much on there now than it had before.
Well, how does this translate into the real benefit that you're getting from it and your customers are getting from you?
I would say time efficiency is the main one that we benefited from because we've populated our quoting price section. Anybody can quote now. We've uploaded codes for all of our products. So they've got a code Bible, which they can follow. They put in the code and the price builder element. You can just add items to it. So if you were creating a sign panel, for example, with rails and posts, instead of having to manually cost those items on a piece of paper and then start typing, what Clarity will now do is you can price build. You put your code in, it puts the sign panel in at the right size that you've entered. You add your rails and it tells you the length. You've got your posts, you can add those and it totals it up for you. So the time efficiencies for the staff have been great. They don't actually need to quite as much understand why we charge what we charge. It's just a case of this is the price, put that together and build it. Also, probably non-conformances have gone down. We're ISO registered, so we obviously monitor all our non-conformances. Okay. They've decreased by about 50% using this system, and now these non-conformances have dropped because it is efficient. It's a process, and if the process is followed, there is a lot less need for human intervention and error.
So this is interesting because you were using the same system essentially before. So what is it that's made it that much easier to get to grips with the system in the cloud-based version than it was before?
I think it's come down to the layout. It's just so much user-friendly. There's the buttons are color-coded. For example, the call to action buttons, when you save something, it stands out to you. Whereas previously, it was quite a blank screen. For example, products weren't really divided when you were putting them into quotes. There weren't lines between them, whereas now they are set separate items. And if you can use things like email, you can use Clarity because it's just a lot easier to flow.
So what's the feedback from using the system?
Yes, so we've got one member of staff who started just towards the end of us using Clarity Pro, and he just really struggled to get to grips with it. It was, the layout was difficult, and we almost had to teach him everything to use it, all of our systems and all of our pricing. We switched probably about 3 weeks since he's been here, and he loves it. He's just said it is just so much easier to get to grips with. All the information's in it. Admittedly, we had to take the time to populate that, but it was worth it for time saving that we've now got.
Yeah.
Nobody really moans about it. The buttons are easy to follow. Everything's where it should be. They can access it anywhere. They can sit at any desk and log in. That is the beauty of it. They don't, have to just come back to their one server. They can log in if they're in the print room. They can log in the workshop and see the jobs board. They're very happy with it.
What's next with the process of moving across?
They have got a new delivery function out, which is a proof of delivery. We've had a quick look at it, but that's something we'll probably delve into a bit more. We currently use a paper system where the delivery notes get printed out and the customer signs them. There is an electronic version of that, so that might be something we can consider. But for us, it'll be focusing on the reporting side of things. For financial forecasting, it's really good at showing you what have you quoted, how much is converted, how much work have you got out there that hasn't gone ahead. It's good to look back at the reasons the customers haven't gone ahead, if that's the case. So delving more into that reporting function to support us as managers then, forecasting going forward. So they're used to let us know there was an update on the old system, and then they'd have to remote into the server and then update it on the main computer. If that main computer wasn't switched on in the mornings, nobody could actually use Clarity, and then go onto each and every computer and install each update. So the fact that they're automatic is, it's really good. And they usually are done, obviously not within the working day. Then we come back the next morning and everything's been done.
It's all done. Brilliant. Okay, so you've been using this a while. What would you say are the 3 biggest advantages that you've gained from moving to Go?
Oh, there's lots. The main 3 I would say are the fact you can access from anywhere. That's one of the top ones. Definitely the reporting functions, because obviously they're the business, and just the time saving for both myself and Donna and the staff.